Ladies and gents, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com. It is, of course, Sunday, July 3rd, 2022. 4th of July weekend is just heating up. We got 4th of July tomorrow. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of people going out to family barbecues, hanging out with friends, drinking beer, eating some steak. You already know the drill. I see we got Hoolagrim. He decided to stop by the chat. I greatly appreciate you coming on in. This is, of course, the official rewind for WWE Money in the Bank 2022, which of course streamed live on Peacock yesterday evening, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And I took long, extensive notes. I got all my thoughts gathered. I got all of my notes written down in this notebook in front of me, and I'm ready to read them off, and I'm ready to talk about everything that took place at Money in the Bank last night. Thank you very, very, very much, everyone who's stopping by the channel thus far. I see we also got Mitchkovsky in the chat. And as usual, Mitchkovsky reminding everyone that I am the best in the fucking business. No one can measure up to me. Nobody can touch me. I am absolutely, positively, undisputably the best. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. But anyway. Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank. I see we also got Alan Holland and Kenzie TV. Thank you both for stopping by. If you haven't already done so, please make sure that you hit the like button. Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank 2022. I don't know what it is, but the last string of WWE shows, more specifically WrestleMania Night Number 1, which was probably the best WWE show of the year thus far, WrestleMania Backlash, Hell in a Cell was at. Hell in a Cell was at. It wasn't a great show. It wasn't horrible. It was a very, very thumbs in the middle show. It wasn't terrible. I've seen worse. It was certainly better than whatever we saw at the fucking Royal Rumble. And then we got Money in the Bank. The last string of WWE shows have actually been very good. And I'm not sure how much longer WWE can keep this up, where they just completely shit the bed during the build, however long the build may be, 4 to 5 weeks, and then we actually get a semi-decent pay-per-view. We actually get a semi-decent pay-per-view in the end. With Money in the Bank, we got a well above average pay-per-view. This was probably, I would say, the second best WWE show of the year thus far. Obviously, with WrestleMania Night Number 1 being the best show that WWE has put on in the year 2022 as we speak. There was a lot to talk about. A very, very newsworthy WWE show, which is saying a lot, considering that WWE right now is probably at its lowest that it's ever been, and it's only going to continue to get lower and lower and lower. But Money in the Bank 2022 actually was a very good wrestling show. We had a lot to like. Obviously, we had some shit booking decisions like there always is with WWE programming. I can't remember the last time we had a WWE show in which we did not have a shit booking decision. We got some good, we got some bad, we got some really questionable and shocking outcomes, which obviously we're going to go over everything. I'm trying not to expend all my energy on the intro because I actually have a lot of shit to say about the last two things that we saw. Specifically, Liv Morgan's cash-in and Theory's big night, which should not have taken place. But we'll go in depth on that as we get closer and closer to that match. But Money in the Bank all in all. Money in the Bank all in all was actually a very good wrestling show. Definitely one of the better shows that WWE has put on this year. However, like I always say, there is no reason to get excited. This is not changing of the guard. This does not mean that Stephanie McMahon is in charge. That does not mean that Triple H is back. It was one good show. It's all about what happens tomorrow, and then Friday, and then the next week, and then the next week, and the next week, and the next week. And we all know that WWE, they cannot, and I repeat, they cannot follow up on anything correctly. It just isn't in their nature. It's like they're afraid to actually do something right. But Money in the Bank 2022, we're going to go over everything. I appreciate everyone coming on in and joining me here on yet another hot and humid day here in the beginning of July. For those of you that are in Jersey, you know what I'm talking about. It is hot. I may go in my pool later again. Obviously, we got 4th of July tomorrow. I'm having filet mignon tomorrow. I'm going to have a wonderful time. I'm very much looking forward to it. And I greatly appreciate everyone sticking around and joining me here on The Rewind. I am flying solo today. No guest like there usually is for the Rewind for Hell in a Cell, or the Rewind for Hell in a Cell actually did not have a guest either. The last couple of Rewinds that I've done, they did not have guests. So it looks like for now, I may just be flying solo. Obviously, it can be hard because everyone, they tend to go away on vacation, or they tend to take day trips, or they just want to fucking relax because they've been working, or if they're in school, then they just want to fucking stay inside and play video games, or fucking go to the pool, or go to the beach, whatever it may fucking be. But I'm flying solo today, and we're going to go in depth on everything that took place last night from the MGM Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada for Money in the Bank. I see we got the final Hoss in the building, as well as DD. Very, very happy that DD is here. We were very much worried about you, and we are very, very happy that you are okay. I asked everyone to send my thoughts and prayers to you yesterday during the stream when Peanuts actually announced that you were in the hospital. So I sent all my thoughts and prayers to you, as well as everyone here, and we greatly appreciate you. We love you. You are a loyal friend and a loyal family member, a loyal DJ Storms posse member. You've been one of the most supportive individuals of the DJ Storms brand, and I thank you for that. We all collectively love you, and we are all praying that you are okay. Now then, before we get started, please make sure, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you follow me on social media. Twitter and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. That is at HistoryMakerDJS. Both on Twitter and Instagram. You can add me on Facebook as well for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please be sure to like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description, as well as the links to the Hardcore Sports Network, social medias, and YouTube channel. You can follow Hardcore Sports, which I am officially affiliated with. I will be making my debut on the Hardcore Sports channel very, very soon. I will announce the date at some time this week, so please make sure you go and follow Hardcore Sports on Twitter at Hardcore Sports N. That is Hardcore Sports N. You can also follow them on Instagram at Hardcore Sports Network. Please make sure that you do that. And, of course, subscribe to them on YouTube at Hardcore Sports Network as well. All of those links are in the description of this video. If you missed my vlog from ISPW, Independent Superstars of Pro Wrestling Summerfest, that is in the description. I actually got to meet Tommy Dreamer. I saw Tommy Dreamer fight Danny Morrison in the main event for the ISPW Heavyweight Championship. I also got to see Justin Carino. Justin Carino actually turned, and as well as Maven, he was the manager to Danny Morrison. He turned on Danny Morrison, sided with Justin Carino, and Justin Carino cashed in a contract, Money in the Bank style. So it kind of fits the mood of this weekend. He cashed in a contract, Money in the Bank style, to win the ISPW World Heavyweight Championship. That was actually pretty fucking crazy. So if you want to go catch the highlights there, please make sure you go and check out the link, which is, of course, in the description, as well as the link to the Lightning Flash update from yesterday. We talked about Raw, Dynamite, Blood and Guts, Royal Rampage. We talked about SmackDown. We talked about some news and rumors regarding AEW stars and their contracts expiring, what's going on with Sasha Banks, what's going on with Jungle Boy, and a plethora of other news topics. So please, if you missed it, please go and check that out. The link is, of course, in the description. We are over 10 minutes into the live stream. If you haven't liked the stream, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, because we actually got a pretty mellow crowd. I understand that it's 4th of July weekend, but I'm telling you, we can do better than this. We can do better than this. So here's what I want y'all to do. If you haven't already done so, I want you to share out the stream after you've already liked it, of course. Share out the stream on all platforms, social media. I'm talking about Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever social media platforms that you may be using. It is incredibly, incredibly vital that you do so. Share out the stream and get as many people in here as possible. I greatly appreciate it. And that way, as many people are in this chat, that way the likes will go up, the views will go up, and you tell them to hit the subscribe button, the subscriber count will go up. Even more better for me, helps me out, helps Hardcore Sports out, helps out the DJ Storms brand, helps the channel out. So please, like the video, share it out on all platforms, social media, and tell as many people as you can that DJ Storms is live on YouTube and we talking money in the bank. Of course, when you hit the subscribe button, if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, when you hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube, because whenever I pop up on YouTube, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube, because it's the only time you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Earl Cole's not in the chat. We'll probably see him later. He's vacationing in Connecticut, but we're going to light it up like we always do every single live stream on the channel with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of Why? Because like Campbell's soup, I'm so good. Everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. You already know the drill. Anyway, enough of the self-brand promotion and the advertisements. We're going to get straight into the matches, the results, Money in the Bank 2022. There was no pre-show match. No pre-show match. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm not sure why we are not getting a pre-show match for WWE. This is actually the 4th pay-per-view in a row that they haven't done a pre-show match. The last pre-show match that they actually did was back at Elimination Chamber. It was Rey Mysterio versus The Miz, which was a pretty decent fucking match, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they've thrown down an edict or they've just decided not to do it. I don't know, but they haven't done a pre-show match now 4 pay-per-views in a row. I'm not really complaining because the pre-show doesn't really mean anything, and they haven't given enough time to whatever match is on the pre-show anyway. But whatever it may be, there was no pre-show match. So the show, main show, started off with Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Shotzi Blackheart, Becky Lynch, Raquel Rodriguez, Lacey Evans, and Asuka. This was the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I don't know what happened here. I actually thought this was going to be a pretty decent match, mainly because of the fact that the talent in this match was actually a lot better than last year's. Last year's was probably the worst Money in the Bank ladder match ever that I've ever seen. Last year's ladder match was terrible for the women. Probably the only bad match of that specific Money in the Bank show. This match, I don't know what happened. You take a look at the talent in this, and you would like to believe that it would have favored a lot better, but it didn't. I don't know what the fuck happened. It was very botchy, very sloppy, very clunky. A few decent spots here and there, but ultimately, this was not a very good ladder match at all. This was not a very good. I don't know what the fuck happened. Shotzi Blackheart, and I know a lot of people were talking about it. Shotzi Blackheart did not have a good night. I don't know what the fuck is happening with Shotzi. It's almost as if Shotzi is suffering from the Iconics bug, the Alexa Bliss bug. She started out decent, and then she's getting worse as time is going on. And I don't understand how that's possible, considering how good Shotzi Blackheart was. Shotzi Blackheart this year has not had a very good year. And for the small amount of time that we've seen her, she's been very, very off. Her timing's been off. Her footing's been off. It's almost as if not wrestling on a weekly basis has made her, it's made her ice cold. And what I mean by that, it's made her ice cold to what goes on in the ring. Because in NXT, she was great. In NXT, she wasn't botchy. She wasn't clunky. Everything that Shotzi did in NXT flowed very, very nicely. But here on the main roster, I don't know what it is. It's something feels off. And this match, something did not click. Something did not click about this match. Something felt off. And a lot of it, I believe, has to do with the fact that the women's division has just been so poorly booked, and the production crew, they legitimately have to work with these women who have only been competing in 3-minute matches on a weekly basis. The women's division has been treated so fucking poorly. They're only competing in 3-minute matches to a point where these women don't even know how to go more than 4 minutes. I don't know what happened. Shotzi was off. Liv Morgan was okay. Alexa Bliss, I don't give a shit about Alexa Bliss at all. Alexa Bliss sucks. Raquel Rodriguez was actually one of the standouts in this match. It was Raquel and I think Asuka. Raquel and Asuka were the two standouts in this match. Lacey Evans, I couldn't give a shit about Lacey Evans either. I don't know what the fuck happened, but this match felt very off. Very botchy, very clunky, very sloppy. Something did not click. And I think it may have been the fact that there may have been too many women. There was no reason to add a 7th woman. If I was to pick one individual that shouldn't have been in the match, Shotzi shouldn't have been in the match. Shotzi or Lacey Evans should not have been in this match. Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, I don't even know how it's possible, but every single pay-per-view, Becky Lynch comes out with these attires and she looks more and more retarded. She looked like a combination of Maleficent and Megatron. She looked like fucking Megatron shrunk down to normal size, banged Maleficent, and out popped Becky Lynch. I don't know what the fuck she was wearing. She looked absolutely retarded. She did not look visually pleasing. So Lynch and Asuka went at it while the other participants went for some ladders. So the ring started to fill up with ladders. Raquel used the ladder to take out a few women. Raquel then double suplexed Liv and Becky onto a ladder. That actually looked great. Raquel was actually on point in this match. Shotzi then jumped off a ladder onto Bliss. Liv stepped on a ladder with a knee onto Shotzi. She used the ladder. She walked up the ladder and then gave Shotzi a knee. There were 4 women piled up in the corner onto a ladder. Becky Lynch leg dropped everyone, which didn't really look all that good. It looked like she landed on a fucking mattress. Bliss then with a Molly go round onto Liv, Becky, and Asuka in the ring. Bliss then climbed the ladder before Raquel Rodriguez stopped her. Bliss then Hurricane Rana'd Raquel onto a ladder. Asuka then hip tossed Shotzi onto a ladder. Asuka climbed. Lacey climbed too. Becky stopped them both. Shotzi and Lacey were on top. Lacey then was knocked off. Raquel stopped Lacey Evans. Liv Morgan went up there too. Liv Morgan then, this was actually one of the best spots of the entire match right here. This was probably the best spot of the entire match. Liv Morgan with a sunset flip powerbomb to Lacey Evans off the ladder. She landed perfectly on her feet, delivered the sunset flip powerbomb perfectly. It looked great. That was probably the best thing about the entire match. A few decent spots here and there, but the overall match was not very good. Raquel then was hung in the tree of woe on the ladder. Shotzi tried to climb. Bliss stopped her. Shotzi and Bliss, they crashed and burned. It was a botched electric chair drop. I don't know what happened with Shotzi here, but Shotzi went for an electric chair on Alexa Bliss, and Alexa Bliss and Shotzi fell with the ladder, and Bliss went back first into the ladder. So instead of 2018, where Alexa, you know what that is? This was actually payback. This was payback from 2018 when Bliss did absolutely nothing, took a fucking nap on the outside for 20 minutes, and then won the fucking match. So, the crowd was very into Shotzi, actually. I'm actually surprised, considering how much she botched. Shotzi then stopped Becky. She laid Becky on the ladder. Shotzi then went for a diving senton. Becky moved, and Shotzi went splat, back and neck first, right onto the ladder. So Asuka took out Becky. Raquel then stopped Asuka, and then Raquel set up a ladder in between the announce table and the ring. Raquel and Asuka were on the table. They went back and forth. Asuka with a flying armbar to Raquel. She then locked in an iron octopus before Becky dropped Asuka on the ladder. Raquel was down. Becky climbed the big ladder and then delivered a seated senton onto Asuka on the ladder. The ladder did not break. I actually hope that Asuka is okay. Then Becky shoved all 4 women that were in the ring on 3 ladders. She shoved her off the ladder. She climbed. She went for the briefcase. Liv Morgan then was on top. The ladder was going over. Liv stopped the ladder with her foot, pushed herself back up, knocked Becky off. She knocked Becky off the ladder. Liv then climbed and actually won. Yes, Liv Morgan. I did not stutter. Liv Morgan unhooked the briefcase and won the Money in the Bank ladder match. She won a very clunky, a very unorganized mess of a Money in the Bank ladder match. Match sucked, but Liv Morgan was the right winner here. Now, I was legitimately stunned. I was legit stunned that they actually gave Liv Morgan the win here. I did not think that they were going to do that. I thought WWE had it in their mind that, you know what, we're going to give Becky Lynch the briefcase because Becky Lynch is our golden girl. But no, they decided to give Liv Morgan the briefcase. Now, originally, I was thinking, hey, you know what? WWE was saying Becky Lynch is already going to get the match with Bianca Bel Air at SummerSlam anyway, because let's be real, there is nobody else. It's either Becky, Alexa Bliss, who's been the only woman that's actually been winning matches on WWE TV, or it's going to be a returning Bayley. And I don't know when Bayley's coming back, nor do I know who she's coming back to face. I thought it was going to be Ronda, but I don't think it's going to be Ronda now. But it could very well be Bianca. And if I'm a betting man, I'm actually going to go with Becky to get the match against Bianca at SummerSlam because they're going to play up the fact that, oh my God, 1 year in the making, SummerSlam, the 26-second redo, blah, 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 whatever they want to sell it, because Becky Lynch beat Bianca at SummerSlam and buried her in about 26 seconds. So they're going to play up that story, which no one wants to see because Becky Lynch is an absolute parasite to the division. She's actually worse than Charlotte Flair, and I don't even believe I just said that. But Liv Morgan got the win. I was actually shocked. I didn't know what to expect, but I had zero faith. And even though they did what they did later on in the night, I'm telling you right now, I still have zero faith. And I'm going to explain to you why once we get to the Ronda Rousey and Natalya match. Once we get to the Ronda Rousey and Natalya match, I'm going to explain why I have no faith in what WWE did. However, that does not deter the fact that I am happy for Liv Morgan. I'm very happy for Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, she has really come a long way, and I was very, very happy to see Liv Morgan win. I had Becky Lynch winning this just because of who she was and how WWE thinks. But WWE, they pulled the rug out from under us, and they gave it to Liv Morgan, which I'm not really complaining about. I think that this is a great move. This was absolutely the right decision, and Liv Morgan was the right winner. Out of everyone in that match, she deserved it the most because, A, she's been there the longest, and she's the longest reigning individual that hasn't won jack shit in the WWE. She has been with the WWE for how long now? 8 years, I want to say? Been with the WWE for 8 years, and they've given her nothing. She's pretty much been WWE's female version of Dolph Ziggler. She puts on decent matches, but ultimately she's a loser. So this was well overdue for Liv Morgan. This should have happened well before last night. Liv Morgan should have actually won Money in the Bank last year. Would have been a better story. But I'm actually very happy for Liv Morgan. But we're going to go in depth on why there is really no reason to get excited about Liv Morgan winning, even though I want to be. And I am happy for Liv Morgan, like I said. I'm very pleased, and I am very, very, very happy that Liv Morgan's finally getting her just due. But at the end of the day, this is WWE we're talking about. There is no reason to get excited, and we're going to dissect everything that happened in the Ronda Rousey-Natalya match and why Liv Morgan winning the championship off of Ronda Rousey ultimately is going to end up meaning nothing within a few weeks' time. So hang tight. Hang tight. But the match itself, very botchy, very clunky, an unorganized mess, but the winner was correct. So the match itself did not start the show off on the right foot, but Liv Morgan winning definitely set the show off on the right foot because Liv Morgan is a fan favorite. The crowd wanted to see Liv Morgan, and Liv Morgan absolutely deserved this out of everyone in that match. From there, we go into Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley. This was actually one of the best matches of the entire night. Probably, I would say, the third best match of the night. Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley. The build towards this match. The build towards this match has been undoubtedly one of the worst builds, if not the worst build, towards any championship match in WWE this year. Pose downs and baby oil in the eyes and all these handicap matches and gauntlet matches. The Alpha Academy got buried multiple weeks in a row at the hands of Bobby Lashley. Theory got pinned in a non-title match. The build has sucked. The build was undoubtedly one of the worst builds that we've seen towards a WWE match all year. And especially, it's especially disheartening and very, very frustrating considering how good Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory are. But the match itself was actually a very good match. And I don't understand how it couldn't have been. Bobby Lashley is great. Bobby Lashley's gotten better in the ring over time. Bobby Lashley has grown. And Austin Theory is a fucking prodigy. Austin Theory is so great at what he does at such a young age that he could literally bring anyone to a great match. Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley, they wrestled as if they have been wrestling for years. It's like they knew each other. It's like they were destined to be opponents. The flow of this match was very good. Went about 12 minutes. The pacing was very nice. Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley played up to their strengths very, very well. And overall, we got a very good match. These are the types of matches that's going to make the United States Championship mean something. And these are the types of matches that we should be seeing for titles like the United States Championship. So I'm very happy that they were given the time to give us a very good match. The outcome, very surprising, and after sleeping on it and after digesting everything, I'm going to tell you right now that the outcome of this match was wrong. This was the wrong outcome of this match, and I'm going to explain why. Austin Theory actually was caught right out of the gate with a big move. Lashley was in control. He delivered a big spine buster to Austin Theory. Theory then got out of dodge because Lashley was going for the spear. Lashley with a big forearm to Theory, sending Theory to the floor. Theory then sent Lashley into the post and into the barricade. Lashley got caught with a punt kick. Theory then dove off the apron at Lashley. Lashley actually tripped when he tried to catch Theory, but Lashley recovered quite nicely. And then Lashley sent Theory right into the post, like he usually does with the fireman's carry, right into the post. Lashley, after he did that, he sent Theory back into the ring. Theory was pleading for mercy. Oh my God, please don't do this. Please don't do this. Lashley was like, what the fuck you doing? Get up. He sent Theory into turnbuckle after turnbuckle after turnbuckle. And then Lashley, he actually went for some 10 punches in the corner, but Theory shut him down. Theory then gave Lashley a clothesline, and he took over control of the match. Lashley mounted a comeback with a big belly-to-belly suplex, a clothesline in the corner, and a big shoulder tackle. This was a beautiful spot in the match, right? This was probably one of my favorite spots of the entire night. Theory went for the roll-through drop kick that he usually does. He's on the apron, and he goes into the ring. He springs into the ring with a roll-through drop kick, and then he does a jump, and then the front drop kick. Lashley, he does this roll-through drop kick, does Theory. Lashley catches Theory in midair in a military press, holds him up there for a little bit, gets his footing, holds him up there, and then drops him into a picture-perfect power slam. So a beautiful counter from the roll-through into a military press power slam. That looked awesome. Lashley scored a 2 count off of that. Theory then sent Lashley into the turnbuckle and hit the roll-through dropkick for a 2. So Theory then went for the A-Town down reverse. Theory then raked the eyes of Lashley, and then Theory hit a spear. I actually thought Theory was going to win it right there. So after Theory hit the spear, he put Lashley on his shoulders for the A-Town down. Lashley reversed it into the Hurt Lock. He locked it in deep, and Theory actually tapped out. Theory tapped out, and Bobby Lashley wins the United States Championship for a 3rd time. The match itself was very good. The outcome was very, very shocking. Now, originally, I was thinking to myself, why did Bobby Lashley win this match? I was thinking to myself, did they give Bobby Lashley this as a thank you for his services in the Omos feud, which was terrible? Did they give this to him as a consolation prize because he wasn't going to get the world title match against Roman and Lesnar's getting that match? Did they give this to him as a thank you? Did they give this to him because they know that Austin Theory versus John Cena at SummerSlam, it doesn't need the United States Championship, and Theory's just going to beat John Cena straight up while Bobby Lashley does his own thing? Are they going to go with a rematch at SummerSlam because Cena's not competing at SummerSlam? Cena is not showing up, and Theory and Lashley are going to have another match for the U.S. title at SummerSlam, with Theory becoming a 2-time U.S. champion and winning the championship back. Are they going to do that? I don't know. I was thinking to myself in that moment that was probably the reason, but then after what we saw in the main event, we know damn well what the reason was. And Lashley, listen, I love Lashley. Lashley is awesome. Lashley is definitely one of the better acts on WWE TV. Lashley's definitely evolved, and Lashley can give you a great match. But at the end of the day, Lashley at this stage of the game, and you may not like what I'm about to say, Lashley at this stage of the game shouldn't be winning championships. Look at his career. Lashley's a made man. Lashley's a Hall of Famer, ECW champion, multi-time Intercontinental champion, multi-time U.S. champion, world champion, held the WWE Championship for almost 200 days. He beat Brock Lesnar. Lashley doesn't need any more championship wins. Lashley's a made man. There's no need for Bobby Lashley to win the United States Championship. Matter of fact, this actually hampers the United States Championship. And it didn't really matter who won this match, whether it was Theory or Lashley. There's no competition. There's no mid-card competition for Bobby Lashley. At least with the title still on Austin Theory, Theory would have continued his reign as the United States Champion. He would have been in a very good spotlight where he could make the U.S. title feel somewhat prestigious, and he could continue ranking up the wins and rank up a long title reign, which would actually make him stand out, because the U.S. title has really been treated like a hot potato outside of Damian Priest and his United States Championship title reign. Realistically, I would have had Austin Theory hold the United States Championship going into next year. I would have Austin Theory hold the United States Championship well over a year. That way, he would have actually built a nice, solid resume for himself, even at a young age, and he wouldn't have been overexposed. But after what happened in the main event, now Austin Theory is in a shit position. And we're going to talk about that once we get to the main event. But as far as Lashley goes, Lashley did not need to win this match. This should have gone to Austin Theory. And I say that because there is bigger plans for Lashley. Lashley, if he wasn't going to get the world title match against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, you should have had Lashley lose this match. He should have gone over to SmackDown because, again, the brand split may still be intact, but WWE doesn't care. They have Monday Night Raw superstars appearing on SmackDown and vice versa. Lashley should have been moved to SmackDown, and Lashley should have been built up for an IC title match with Gunther going into Clash at the Castle. That would have been a great mid-card match to put at Clash at the Castle, and that would have made Gunther feel that much more important. I don't want to see Lashley laying down for Omos, him laying down for Gunther and help getting Gunther more over. That is what I would go with. That is something that I would appreciate. It's all about how you use talent. You don't need to have Bobby Lashley in the mid-card winning the U.S. title. Meanwhile, he could be in a higher position on the card, helping get over new superstars. Lashley does not need to be winning championships. Lashley should be in a position in which he remains strong, but he's helping others get over. Lashley is a made man. Him versus Gunther would have been a perfect undercard match to help sell Clash at the Castle. Can you imagine a potential match with Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, or Drew McIntyre and someone, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, whatever it may be, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns? Can you imagine a Drew McIntyre versus a Roman Reigns, Gunther and Bobby Lashley, a Brock Lesnar and someone else, whoever it may be, Brock Lesnar and let's just throw in AJ Styles, you could throw him in there, Bianca Bel Air and a potential whoever in a championship unification match, Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, whatever it may be. Lashley should have lost this match, and he should have been saved for SmackDown to go up against Gunther and the IC title to help advance Gunther. That's actually a match that sounds a lot more intriguing than Lashley as United States Champion in the mid-card against legitimately nobody. I'm just throwing it out there. The match was very good. The match was very good. I knew it was going to be. But at the end of the fucking day, there's no reason why Austin Theory needed to lose the United States Championship. Austin Theory should have remained the United States Champion going into next year. If anything, you were better off doing Austin Theory versus John Cena for the United States Championship at SummerSlam, because at least then Austin Theory would still be the champion and he would still be building a decent fucking resume for himself. Very good match. I love Lashley, but he should not have won this. Austin Theory should have retained. From that, we go into Carmella. Carmella versus Bianca Bel Air. This was for the Raw Women's Championship. Obviously, a match between Rhea Ripley and Bianca Bel Air would have been a hell of a lot better. Obviously, it would have meshed well together. Obviously, it would have worked out a lot better. Obviously, we would have gotten the show getting brought up from probably like a 7.5 to an 8.5 if Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair was on the show, because they could have potentially given us the best women's championship match all year. So Rhea Ripley got injured. Apparently, it's a health issue that she has been dealing with for a decent amount of time. And apparently, we don't know how long she's going to be out. But here we are. We get Carmella and Bianca Bel Air. Obviously, with Carmella coming back and just getting a championship match out of thin air, it was fucking stupid. It was nonsensical. I don't understand why it needed to take place. It made everyone dumber. Everyone that watched this felt dumber. It made the entire Raw Women's division look like a bunch of fucking nimrods. However, when you need Carmella to do a job and you need Carmella to deliver a serviceable performance, Carmella, more likely than not, she usually comes through. Carmella's not the best in the ring. She's not. But from where she was in 2018 when she was the SmackDown Women's Champion and how terrible that title reign was, because that title reign fucking sucked. one of the worst women's title reigns ever was Carmella in 2018. Her matches sucked. However, she worked to get better from where she was all the way back in 2018. And she actually has, she's actually, what's the word that I'm looking for? She's morphed herself into a semi-decent pro wrestler that no matter who you put her in the ring with, more likely than not, it's going to be a semi-decent match. And that's exactly what this was. This was a decent little 7-8 minute match. It didn't overstay its welcome. It wasn't bad at all. It was just there. It's exactly what it should have been. This was a bridge match to get Bianca Bel Air through Money in the Bank into SummerSlam, in which she will probably face, more likely than not, Becky Lynch. So Bianca Bel Air was in early control. Bianca Bel Air stopped the Hurricane Rana from Carmella and delivered a backbreaker barrage. Carmella tried to sneak up on Bianca Bel Air on the outside, but Bianca Bel Air delivered a very nice-looking shoulder tackle. So Mella then took over with a super kick. That got a 2 count. Carmella then delivered some back elbows in the corner to Bianca Bel Air. Bianca tried to mount the comeback. Very nice vertical suplex. Bianca Bel Air, obviously, probably the strongest woman. That's not just a catchphrase. She is legitimately the strongest woman in WWE. She then did the 10 punches in the corner. Carmella then with a couple of roll-ups for a 2. We had another super kick for a 2. Mella then, all of a sudden, this was it almost felt like a very abrupt ending, but I kind of expected it only because the match obviously was never supposed to take place to begin with, and it was always supposed to be Rhea and Bianca. I have a feeling Rhea and Bianca would have gotten an extra 5 to 7 minutes if they were actually on the show, but we ended up getting this match ending very, very quickly. It went about 7 to 8 minutes, and Bianca Bel Air won the match with a KOD out of nowhere. Bianca Bel Air retains the championship. Quick. It was simple, it was effective, nothing crazy at all, and both women, for what they were given, they did just fine, and I don't think anybody had an issue with it. I didn't have an issue with it. Carmella, again, she's not the best, but when she's given the opportunity, she can hold her own just fine against the bigger stars in the WWE. Carmella right now, I would say, is probably in the best role that she's ever been in. This is exactly the role that Carmella should be in. Carmella should be in a role where she is a decent wrestler and she's used to help get others over. Carmella is not a woman that is going to be winning championships. She's a woman that is going to be used to help advance others, and that's exactly what she did for Bianca. Quick, simple, effective, and that was it. I don't really have any complaints about it. There was really nothing for me to complain about. Afterwards, Carmella then attacked Bianca after the match and left Bianca laying. I'm not sure what this means. I was actually thinking, is Liv Morgan going to cash in? Are we going to get Liv Morgan cashing in on Bianca? We didn't get that. We didn't get that. I was actually a little bit shocked that we didn't get that. It was actually quite interesting to me. So, Carmella's attacking Bianca Bel Air. Is Liv Morgan going to cash in? I don't know. But we ended up not getting the cash in. And when Liv Morgan didn't cash in on Bianca, I had a feeling, okay, so WWE's probably going to have Liv Morgan hold the championship for a decent amount of time, hold the Money in the Bank championship contract for a decent amount of time. And then maybe when we least expect it, she's going to cash in. Now, she did cash in when we least expected it, but I didn't expect it to be that night. I didn't expect it to be last night. We'll talk about that later on, but the match itself was not very, it wasn't all that crazy. It wasn't bad. It was just a quick, simple, effective 8 to 9 minute match, and that was pretty much it. Carmella does the job for Bianca Bel Air, and Bianca Bel Air continues her Raw Women's Championship title reign, and I would not be shocked if they take that title off of Bianca at SummerSlam because Becky Lynch is their golden woman. And that was pretty much that. Do we get another match with Carmella and Bianca? I don't know. I wouldn't really want to see it, but I mean, if they're given more time and they're able to put on a semi-decent match, then I guess I would not necessarily mind it. But at the end of the day, it was a match that was just there. It didn't really harm the show. It didn't really help the show in a great manner, but it did what it was supposed to do. So I can't really complain about it. Check the chat for a minute. Obviously, we got AK Eagles podcast. Thank you for coming on in and dropping a like. We also got Earl Cole. I hope, Earl, you are enjoying your vacation over in Connecticut. And I cannot wait to have you back in the IWC on July 21st for the Wrestling Experience. Very underrated show, if I might add. How you doing, Charlie Sees All? If you haven't already done so, please make sure you hit that like button. I see we got a solid 14 likes. I think we can do a little better than 14 likes. So here's what I want y'all to do, people. If you haven't already done so, hit the like button and, of course, share out the stream on all platforms of social media and get as many people in here as possible. I think we can at least get to 20. I think it's a reasonable goal. So if you guys want to help me get to my goal, share it out. Tell people to get the fuck in here because we got some more stuff to talk about. And we haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet. Trust me, I got some shit to say about the main event and Liv Morgan's cash-in. Trust me on that. So from there, after the Raw Women's title match, we move into the Street Profits versus the Usos. This was for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. Very similar to Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory. The match was very poorly built. A lot of people didn't really care for the build. All we saw was singles matches between Street Profits and the Usos for about 4 weeks straight. Outside of that promo that we saw a few days ago on SmackDown, the build towards this match was probably the second worst build. But I had a feeling that these two teams, considering they know each other very well and they've worked with each other very well, I had a feeling that these two teams were going to go out there and they were going to give it their all. I had a feeling that these two teams were going to go out there and they were legitimately going to stop at nothing until they make sure that everyone remembers what they did. I had a feeling that they were going to give us their best match together, and that's exactly what they did. This, hands down, was the match of the night. Street Profits and the Usos, 20-plus minutes, these two teams went out there, and they absolutely stole the fucking show. Absolutely stole the fucking show. I have been very, very critical of how WWE's handled the Usos, and I'm sure a lot of people have been. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only guy. I'm not the only individual who's just sitting here on YouTube screaming into the fucking void about how terribly the Usos have been booked and how much of a joke they've been when Roman Reigns is not there. But now we get this match, and I'm very pleased to say that the Usos once again reminded everyone why they are the best tag team in WWE right now, one of the top 5 best tag teams in the world. And this was definitely a match that reminded everyone how good the Street Profits really are. I don't have a single complaint about this match. This match, undoubtedly, was the best match on the entire show and absolutely will go down as one of not only the best tag team matches in WWE all year, but absolutely one of the best matches in WWE all year, period. And I ask this every single time. I ask this every single fucking time we see a match like this between two tag teams in WWE. I ask the same fucking thing. Why aren't we seeing this every fucking week? Why aren't we seeing this on a weekly basis between two tag teams or X amount of tag teams, considering how good the tag teams in WWE are? You got the Street Profits, you got the Usos, you got the Mysterios, you got the Viking Raiders, you got the New Day, you got Los Lotharios, who are doing nothing right now. Maximum Male Models is a new tag team that apparently they're going to introduce, Marseille and Mansois. I don't know what they're going to do, but we're going to have to wait and see. What about all the other tag teams that are in NXT? You can imagine that some tag teams are going to get called up from NXT. I mean, I don't understand how We have all of these great tag teams. We got Alpha Academy too. Alpha Academy too. They've been booked like fucking jobbers. Meanwhile, they're a great fucking tag team. The Dirty Dogs. We're the fucking Dirty Dogs. The Dirty Dogs too. Dirty Dogs too. Why aren't we seeing competitive tag team wrestling on a weekly basis? Why aren't we seeing shit like this every fucking week? If we see shit like this every fucking week, it would actually make people care about the build and tag team wrestling in general a lot more. This is what we need to see on a weekly basis. The fact that we're not is absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We need to see tag team wrestling like this. I'm not saying we're going to have a show stealer every fucking week on WWE TV with their tag team division, but this is the type of material that we need to see week in and week out when it comes to tag team wrestling. If we don't, then at the end of the day, less and less people are going to end up caring. I don't understand how we have so many great tag teams in WWE, all the tag teams that I just named, and you can't give us a competitive tag team division. I don't get it. I don't get it. But the match itself was fucking excellent. Absolutely one of the best tag team matches in WWE all year, and it will go down as one of the best matches in WWE all year, period. So the Profits came in hot. They actually were looking to end it quickly. They went for the cash out very, very quickly. Profits then were in control early on, with Jey Uso being isolated. Uso then took over. Jimmy with a suicide dive to Dawkins. Dawkins was isolated before he eventually got the hot tag to Montez Ford. Montez Ford came in with a super kick. He came off with a springboard off the top rope. Jey caught him with a super kick in midair. Ford kicked out. The Usos then isolated Montez Ford. He was then dropped, was Ford, with a backbreaker elbow drop combination. That got a 2. Jey then gave Dawkins a super kick, knocked Dawkins off the floor. Ford then tried to fight back. Jimmy with a big punch right to the face, and Dawkins was dropped again. Both men were on the apron, and Ford delivered a suplex to Jimmy on the apron. Ford then got the hot tag. Angelo Dawkins with a beautiful tope con hero over the top rope, taking out both Jimmy and Jey Uso. Dawkins came in hot with a leaping back elbow, a twisting stinger splash, and then he hit the silencer. Dawkins got a 2 count off the silencer. Dawkins then tackled both Usos on the outside, football-like style shoulder tackle. The Profits then with this was a great move right here. It was almost like, you remember American Alpha and remember the grand amplitude that they used to do? So American Alpha, they used to do grand amplitude, but instead of a pounce, they did a pop-up into a back suplex. Here, the Profits, we had Angelo Dawkins pouncing, I believe it was Jimmy. He pounced Jimmy in midair. Jimmy went flying through the air, and Ford caught him with a back suplex, which looked very nice. Jimmy kicked out. The Profits then with a beautiful electric chair blockbuster combination. Jey just kicked out. I actually thought the Profits won it right there. The Usos then took out Dawkins. Usos with double super kicks to Ford. And the Usos thought they had it won, but Ford kicked out. Great near fall. The Usos measured Montez Ford before Ford sent Jimmy out of the ring. He did the same to Jey. Ford then does what he usually does and did a beautiful, just like Angelo Dawkins did over the top rope. This time he did it over the post. Beautiful tope con hero over the post, taking out both of the Usos. Tag to Dawkins. Dawkins hit the cash out, and then Ford with the beautiful frog splash. Jimmy barely saved the match. I thought the Profits won it there. Again, awesome near fall. They had a 4-way face-off. It was almost like classic NXT TakeOver. Fatal 4-way standoff. 4-man standoff, and both teams went at it. Reminded me of what happened back at TakeOver Chicago in 2018 when we saw Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch fight the Undisputed Era. So Jimmy, with a super kick to Dawkins, and then he was sent into the timekeeper's area. Dawkins was effectively taken out of the match. Usos then scored the 1D on Montez Ford, pinned Montez Ford 1, 2, 3, and the Usos retain the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships in what was absolutely the best match of the night. It will go down as one of the best WWE matches all year. It was an excellent tag team match, and this was probably the Usos' best match throughout the entire run of their championship reign. This was actually the best Street Profits Usos match that we've seen, and we've seen a few. We actually had a few Street Profits Usos match all the way back during the fall. They actually had a match at Extreme Rules, which was very good, but this blew it away. This was an excellent fucking match. Easily the best match of the night, and easily the best Street Profits Usos match we've ever seen. Afterwards, they showed a replay after Montez Ford was hit with the 1D, and it was actually shown that Montez Ford's shoulder was up. I'm not sure what this means, but we could be getting another match between these two teams, which again, they'll put on a great match, but at the end of the day, I don't see the Street Profits as the team to really take the titles off of the Usos. If they want to do it, I mean, I guess so, because the Street Profits, they haven't been tag team champions in quite some time now, so I guess we could see the Street Profits as tag team champions again. But if you're asking me, I would go with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, only because of the fact that those two, they've been treated like absolute shit. They've been fucking buried over the course of the last God knows how many months. Owens has legitimately been one of the most mistreated individuals on WWE's roster this year. He's been doing nothing but losing big matches. And then Sami Zayn, forget about it. Sami Zayn has not had any fucking relevancy on WWE TV in God knows how many years. He is nothing more than a glorified fucking jobber. Sami and Owens, they absolutely deserve a fucking bone. Just like Liv Morgan, Sami and Owens deserve a fucking bone. Put them in the tag team division. Let me see what those two can do. I don't know if we get another match between the two. Maybe we could. Maybe we could. Or is this leading to Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins potentially breaking up? I don't want that to happen because they're better together than they are separately. I hope that they stick together, to be quite honest with you. Maybe we do get another match. Maybe the Street Profits do win the titles at SummerSlam. We'll have to see what happens. We had a very eerie, very weird video package. This actually sent the IWC into a fucking frenzy right here. So, it was a very, very dark and ominous, satanic video package with dark rooms lit with candles and crosses and fucking churches. It was like I was watching The Nun. It was like I was watching The Nun from the Conjuring universe. A lot of people speculated that this was Bray Wyatt, and I actually expected this to be Bray Wyatt as well. Some people were saying that it was Gable Steveson because they saw a gold medal in reference to the Olympic gold medal that Gable Steveson won in the Olympics. Sean Ross Sapp reported that it was Edge. Now, I don't know why Edge would be coming back with his voodoo satanic character because he got kicked out of Judgment Day. If anything, Edge should come back to Metalingus by Alter Bridge, and we should get the Rated R Superstar. And that would obviously spark up the match with Finn Balor at SummerSlam. I don't know what's going on. I honestly don't know what is going on here with this video package. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going to go with Gable Steveson or Edge. And we did actually see a tweet from WrestleVotes. They actually tweeted out something along the lines of, don't get too overly excited about that vignette. So apparently they must know that it's either Gable Steveson or it's Edge. It's not Bray Wyatt. And to be quite honest with you, if I am WWE, or if I'm Bray Wyatt rather, I would give WWE the old fuck you. I wouldn't go back to WWE at all after they mistreated him. I wouldn't go back to WWE whatsoever. So if I'm Bray Wyatt, I would say fuck you to WWE. I don't think Bray Wyatt is coming back at all. And if he does, it's certainly not going to be now. So at the end of the fucking day, it'll probably go down as either Gable Steveson or Edge. But obviously, that sent the IW scene to a frenzy. They didn't know what the fuck to think. Charlie sees all. To answer your question, no, I don't think that they would have taken the title off of Bianca Bel Air and put it on Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley has a better chance of taking the 24/7 championship than winning the Raw Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley in Judgment Day without Edge, she is pretty much dead. She's dead to rights. So after this eerie package, oh, by the way, not only did we get this eerie package, but this I found absolutely fucking hilarious right here. They made a promo package, a legit promo package, this beautifully done promo package with Kevin Owens, highlighting Kevin Owens' career highlights ever since he came up to the main roster. The promo package was awesome. Now, what I found funny about that is they spent this time making this beautiful promo package to Kevin Owens, but yet when Kevin Owens is on TV, they treat him like a fucking undercard scrub. They treat him like a piece of trash. He has not won a championship in 5 years, yet they make this beautiful promo package for him, hyping him up, but yet their actions don't speak as their words do. Yet their actions tell you that they don't value Kevin Owens. That's what I found funny. That's what I found funny about that whole Kevin Owens promo package, if you guys saw it. So after that, and after the eerie vignette with the dark rooms, with the candles and the crosses and the churches, we go into Natalya versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I don't want to say that this was bad. But this was fucking boring. I'm sorry. This was fucking boring. Natalya, look, listen, I don't care what anyone says. There's a reason why Natalya has not been given a prime spotlight on WWE TV. She's fucking boring. She's a boring wrestler. Natalya is the female version of The Miz. She is as boring as you can get. She is as bland as She is as bland as a blank sheet of paper. She's as bland as a blank sheet of paper. Ronda Rousey, she's no better. Ronda Rousey, this run that Ronda Rousey's been on since she came back has been terrible. The only redeeming part about Ronda Rousey's run was that semi-decent match with Charlotte Flair that we saw all the way back at WrestleMania Backlash 2 months ago. Outside of that, Ronda Rousey's second run has been a complete flop. She has fallen flat on her face week after week after week after week. It has been terrible. It's been terrible. The match itself was not botchy. It wasn't clunky like the women's ladder match, but it was just not exciting. Plus, it didn't help that the crowd was completely taken out of it, considering that the Usos and the Street Profits just put on a Match of the Year candidate right before this. So there was no way that these two women were going to follow that. No way. So the match started off very technical. Natalya was in control. Ronda was actually pretty smooth as well. They were trading technical moves back and forth and arm drags and arm bars. It almost reminded me a little bit of Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat in the beginning of that match where they were trading arm bars back and forth. But let's be real. Natalya and Ronda Rousey are not Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Randy Savage. So Natalya with an ankle lock. Ronda reversed it into an ankle lock of her own. Natalya got to the ropes. Natalya came back with a discus lariat for a 2. The crowd was absolutely fucking dead. Natalya wore down Ronda Rousey. Ronda and Natalya, they traded abdominal stretches. Natalya with a clothesline. Ronda mounted a comeback, a very sloppy-looking takedown, and a very sloppy-looking knee. Natalya then tried to lock in an armbar of her own. Ronda countered. Ronda, this was probably one of the best things that Ronda's done in her second run. Ronda actually locked in a sharpshooter on Natalya, and she did the HBK pose while she locked in Natalya in the sharpshooter. That I actually like. That I will actually give Ronda credit for. So Ronda's playing up to Natalya. She's playing up to the fucking crowd. So Natalya got to the ropes. Rousey was then sent to the floor, but she tweaked her knee. And that actually came into effect after the match. Natalya, with a sharpshooter on the apron, Ronda fought back and drove Natalya headfirst into the post. Natalya bounced off the post pretty nastily. Natalya then beat the count in the ring. Natalya went for the sharpshooter. Rousey then reversed it. She locked in an ankle lock. Natalya reversed that. It was technical trading of the strikes back and forth. Rousey then locked in a modified armbar with a little bit of a triangle choke, so to speak. And Natalya ended up tapping out to Ronda Rousey, and Ronda Rousey successfully retains the SmackDown Women's Championship over Natalya. Now, I actually thought that that was it, and we were going to move on to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Little did I know that this was not going to be the end of this match/segment. All of a sudden, we hear Liv Morgan's music. Liv Morgan comes sprinting down to the ring. She comes running down to the ring. Rousey can barely stand. Her knee is fucking killing her because she tweaked her knee. And all of a sudden, Liv Morgan cashed in her Money in the Bank contract. The bell rang, and it was official. The contract was cashed in. The match was legit. The ref rang the bell. All of a sudden, Ronda Rousey, she caught a kick from Liv Morgan and locked Liv Morgan in an ankle lock. Now, I actually thought that they were going to have Liv Morgan tap out. I thought that they were going to give the entire crowd the biggest middle finger that they would have ever fucking seen. I thought this was going to be the biggest middle finger to the crowd that we've seen from WWE in quite some time. I thought that Liv Morgan was going to tap out right then and there, and they were going to squander Liv Morgan and her Money in the Bank cash-in right then and there. I legit thought Liv Morgan was going to tap out. I was not kidding. And if that was the case, I was just going to sit there and laugh. I was going to sit there and laugh at everyone that thought that Liv Morgan was going to beat Ronda. That did not happen, and I'm actually glad that it did not happen. So Morgan was locked in this ankle lock. She was locked in this ankle lock, I want to say, for about 30 seconds. All of a sudden, Liv Morgan kicks Ronda's injured knee out from underneath her. Ronda was hobbling. Ronda was then rolled up by Liv Morgan in a very tight roll-up. And yes, you heard me correct. Liv Morgan rolled up Ronda, and Liv Morgan won the SmackDown Women's Championship. Afterwards, Ronda hugged Liv Morgan, showed respect to Liv Morgan, presented Liv Morgan with the championship, held up her arm, and gave Liv Morgan her moment to soak in the admiration. Now, I was thinking when I saw this, I'm like, what the fuck did I just see? I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Liv Morgan, out of all people, Liv Morgan was the one to win Money in the Bank, and she cashed in on Ronda Rousey on the same fucking night. And out of everyone, Liv Morgan was the one to take the SmackDown Women's Championship off of Ronda Rousey. I was thinking to myself, I'm not really going to give WWE credit over this, but man, they really made a new star with Liv Morgan. They gave Liv Morgan her career highlight right there. But then reality started to set in. And I didn't think I saw anyone talking about this. I don't think I heard anyone in the IWC mentioning this. Maybe one or two people. Am I happy for Liv Morgan? You bet your fucking ass I'm happy for Liv Morgan. I am ecstatic for Liv Morgan. I'm over the moon for Liv Morgan. Because out of everyone on that roster, Liv Morgan has been a woman who has been there the longest, who has worked her fucking ass off to get better week over week over week, and has busted her fucking ass to make sure that the fans care about her. She got herself over. She got herself over, and she's developed a great connection with the fans. She was not all that good when she first started out, but she worked, and she trained, and she made sure that she was going to evolve. She evolved, and she grew into a fairly decent individual who the people could actually get behind. She's very good in the ring for what she can do, and she's got a very likable personality. She just screams pure babyface. Liv Morgan is a pure babyface, and that's what I love about Liv Morgan. She's an absolute pure white meat babyface that everyone can get behind. Plus, she's a Jersey girl. She's a Jersey chick, and Jersey chicks are the best chicks. I should know. However, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I don't want to shit on everyone's parade. I don't want to make people feel like getting excited about this is worthless, but I'm sorry to tell you that there's really no reason to get excited about this. There's no reason to get excited about this. I'm not saying you can't be happy for Liv Morgan, but I don't want you to get your hopes up. The reason why is because of the company that she works for. I want you guys to think about this for a minute. When has WWE willingly, and I'm not talking about NXT when Triple H ran NXT, I'm talking about main roster. I'm talking about Raw. I'm talking about SmackDown. When has WWE willingly done the right thing? The answer is never. There's never been an instance where WWE has willingly done the right thing because it's the right thing to do and they want to do it for the fans and they care about the fans. They do everything in their power to say fuck you to their fan base. The biggest example is Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, no matter what anyone says, Daniel Bryan was never supposed to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in the main event of WrestleMania 30. Bryan was supposed to face Sheamus. And Batista and Orton was supposed to be the world title match at WrestleMania. That obviously did not happen, and that happened because of two reasons. Number one, CM Punk said, fuck you, WWE, and walked out. And number two, if WWE went forth with Batista and Randy Orton in the main event of WrestleMania 30, the crowd in New Orleans would have burnt that building to the fucking ground. They would have burnt that building to the fucking ground. So they had no choice but to insert Bryan. But Bryan was never supposed to be in that spot. They were forced to do that. Meanwhile, Bryan being in that spotlight at WrestleMania, winning the championship, that was the right thing to do from the get-go. But did they have plans to do that? No. They had to alter plans because of Punk leaving and the fans revolting if Bryan didn't get his world title win at WrestleMania 30. WWE never does the right thing willingly. WWE, every single time they have something good on their hands, they always manage to fuck it up. The only individual that has been booked perfectly in recent memory has been Cody Rhodes. He has been booked absolutely picture perfect, no complaints whatsoever, and it should all result in him winning the Rumble and challenging for the World Championship and winning the world title at WrestleMania. They even got Roman Reigns wrong. They've even gotten Roman Reigns wrong. Look at Roman Reigns' title reign this year alone. Outside of that match with Matt Riddle on SmackDown, which really, it wasn't a blowaway match, but it was a very good match. Outside of that match with Matt Riddle, Roman Reigns and his title reign this year has been absolute shit. It's been shit. DQ finishes with Seth Rollins, matches with Goldberg, finisher fests with Brock Lesnar. He hasn't even been on TV all that much after WrestleMania. Roman Reigns has had a terrible world title reign this year thus far. And it sucks because he was actually the best thing about WWE TV. He started off so fucking good. He was the best act in all of the wrestling industry. And it seems as though the moment that this year started, WWE just decided to coast through this year with Roman Reigns and his world title reign. Roman Reigns and his world title reign this year has been absolutely terrible. Liv Morgan is a fan favorite. She won Money in the Bank, and she beat Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Wonderful. Do you remember the last time that WWE gave Money in the Bank and a world title win to a fan favorite? I want you guys to think back. It wasn't that long ago. It was just last year at this exact same pay-per-view. 1 year ago, who won Money in the Bank that was a fan favorite, universally loved, that people were actually excited for? It was Big E. Big E won Money in the Bank last year. Big E won Money in the Bank last year, and everyone was excited for Big E. Finally, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Big E's finally getting his just due. He's finally getting his opportunity. He's finally going to break out and be a world champion. What happened? What happened? They rushed his cash in. They had him cash in on Bobby Lashley on Monday Night Raw in the middle of September, merely to spark a rating. They had him go into a Hell in a Cell match, not a Hell in a Cell match, a steel cage match. He beat Lashley. He beat Drew. He had a couple decent matches. And then he was booked like absolute trash, losing to Roman Reigns. He got pinned by Bobby Lashley in non-title matches on Monday Night Raw. He had one of the worst WWE titles of the last decade, and he lost the title to Brock Lesnar in a fatal five-way match. Not only that, he was the one pinned. He was the one pinned in that match. So if they did that to Big E, if they fucked up Big E, who is leagues ahead of Liv Morgan and is just as universally loved, if not more than her, what makes you think they're going to get Liv Morgan right? What makes you think that WWE is going to go all in and book Liv Morgan correctly? They've booked nobody correctly. If they fucked up Roman Reigns as both a babyface and a heel, what makes you think that Liv Morgan is going to favor any better? You want to know why Liv Morgan won Money in the Bank? This was a strategic move by WWE. This is how fucked up WWE is. This is what they plan on doing. Listen to this. I want you guys to think back to last year's SummerSlam. There was a Raw Women's Championship title match on SummerSlam. It was a triple threat match between Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH, and a certain self-absorbed manipulative cunt named Charlotte Flair. Who won that match? Charlotte Flair. Who took the losing fall? It was Nikki ASH, who, by the way, she won Money in the Bank last year, and she successfully cashed in on Charlotte Flair the night after Money in the Bank, only to hold the title for a month to drop it right back to Charlotte Flair. WWE did this strategically. They could have easily had Liv Morgan cash in on Bianca Bel Air because Liv Morgan is a Monday Night Raw superstar. They had her cash in on the SmackDown Women's Champion. Why? Because WWE has every fucking intention of doing a triple threat match at SummerSlam between Ronda Rousey, Liv Morgan, and Charlotte Flair. They gave the title to Liv Morgan specifically to be a transitional champion for Charlotte Flair because they don't want to have Ronda Rousey take 2 losses to Charlotte Flair this year alone. That's the reason why they did it. I would be stunned. I would be absolutely, positively stunned if Liv Morgan makes it out of Nashville, Tennessee with that championship. And if she does, she ain't getting past Clash at the Castle. We're going to have Liv Morgan and Charlotte Flair clash at the Castle, and Charlotte Flair is going to take that title right back from Liv Morgan. And even if by some miracle, even if by the grace of God, Liv Morgan makes it out of Clash at the Castle, even by the grace of God, even if she does have a lengthy title reign, have a semi-lengthy title reign, do you have any faith in WWE that they are going to book her well as a champion? If they fucked up Big E, if they fucked up Roman, then they're going to fuck up Liv Morgan. There is no reason to get excited about this. I'm sorry. I want to be excited. I love Liv Morgan. I always support my Jersey girls. And Liv Morgan is well overdue for this moment. But at the end of the day, Liv Morgan is nothing more than a fucking placeholder for Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is going to come back and she's going to win back the championship at some point between SummerSlam and Clash at the Castle. And even if Liv Morgan makes it out of Clash at the Castle and she goes into the fall as the champion, she's not going to be booked well. Look at the division. There is no fucking division. Look at the state of women's wrestling in WWE. There is no state of women's wrestling in WWE. The state of women's wrestling in WWE is Divas Era 2.0. The women are treated like shit in WWE. No one in WWE management, minus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, and they got no fucking power whatsoever. No one in WWE besides those two actually gives a shit about women's wrestling. And you wonder why Sasha Banks left. You wonder why Sasha Banks left. I originally didn't know what to think of this at first. I was shocked that this thing happened. But at the end of the day, Liv Morgan is nothing but a transitional champion. She's either losing that title in a triple threat match with Charlotte Flair and Ronda, with Liv Morgan taking the fall as Charlotte Flair gets the title back, or she's losing it at Clash at the Castle and Charlotte Flair is going to win the title then. One of those two. If she doesn't, I would be shocked. But even if she ends up going into the fall, they're not going to book her well. They're not going to book her well. They don't care to book Roman Reigns well this year. They don't give a shit to book Big E, who are both better than Liv Morgan. They couldn't even book Bianca Bel Air right as the Raw Women's Champion. And Bianca Belair is perhaps the best pure women's athlete in the WWE right now. They can't even get her correctly. What makes you think they're going to get Liv Morgan correctly? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you, but at the end of the day, there is absolutely no reason to get excited about this. I don't mean to shit on your parade, and I don't mean to tell all of you that you're fucking retarded for getting excited about it, but I mean, I hope you understand what we are in for. I hope you understand where we are headed. We are headed towards Liv Morgan inevitably becoming a transitional champion, and she's either going to lose that title at SummerSlam or Clash at the Castle. And again, even if she does make it out, she won't be booked well. She won't be booked well. Look at how WWE's booked Liv Morgan leading up to this Money in the Bank cash-in. She only has about 2-3 legitimate wins in the last 8 to 9 months. That right there, that gives you faith that they're actually going to book Liv Morgan well now that she won Money in the Bank and won a fucking title? There is no reason to get excited, and there's no reason to have any fucking faith. None. However, regardless, I am very happy for Liv Morgan, and all I can do is hope for the best for her. But I know this company. I know this company. To answer your question, Earl, no, this is not creating new stars, and we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about Austin Theory and why he shouldn't have won Money in the Bank. And no, the fans are not fickle in this scenario because this was not a scenario in which Austin Theory should have won. There's a time and a place for everything, and we're going to talk about that. After what we got with this shocking moment with Liv Morgan successfully cashing in Money in the Bank, we go to the main event. I want you guys to listen very closely with what I'm about to talk to you about with Austin Theory. Now, let's go over the match first. So we got Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Matt Riddle, Sheamus, Omos, Madcap Moss, and Sami Zayn. Before the men's Money in the Bank ladder match even started, Adam Pearce made his way to the ring, and he began hyping up the show, and he introduced an 8th participant, which was Theory. The moment that I saw Theory come out, I had a feeling he was winning. And that's exactly what happened. Listen, I love Austin Theory. Austin Theory is great. But this was not the proper time to pull the trigger on him. And I'm going to explain why. So first things first, obviously the match itself was great. The match itself was awesome. Everyone played their role very, very nicely in this match. It was a beautiful type of chaos. It was great. this was a great match. The ending was not so great. So after Adam Pearce added Theory, everyone tried to take out Omos. Everyone went for a ladder. Drew McIntyre hit Omos with a Claymore, sent Omos out of the ring. Theory then got taken out by Drew and Sheamus. Riddle and Rollins got into it. Rollins then was backdropped onto a ladder. Matt Riddle hit a Broton. Madcap Moss sent Sami Zayn into a ladder. Omos came in, stopped Moss and Riddle from getting the briefcase. Omos then slammed Riddle, choke slammed Theory. All of a sudden, everyone attacked Omos, and I had a feeling that they were going to do this. They had Omos cornered on the entrance ramp, and they dumped about 11 ladders on top of him. So all four men dumped about 11 ladders on top of Omos. Theory was the last man in the ring on the ladder. Madcap Moss stopped him. Madcap Moss then, he eyed Sami Zayn. He then powerbombed Sami Zayn. Through a ladder propped up between the bottom rope, which looked brutal for Sami Zayn. Drew McIntyre and Madcap Moss, they fought on top of a ladder. Moss was knocked down. Sheamus took Drew down and gave him a white noise. Sheamus then gave Riddle an Irish Curse backbreaker. Riddle came back with a draping DDT off of a ladder. Matt Riddle then built some momentum with a final flash to Drew McIntyre and a power slam to Seth Rollins. This was a great spot right here. Matt Riddle then with a floating bro, and he wasn't on the second to last rung or the third to last rung. He was on the tippy top of the ladder, and he delivered a floating bro off the top of the ladder onto everyone, which looked awesome. That looked awesome. So Omos then resurfaced. He started to take out everyone. Omos then climbed the ladder. Riddle tried for a sleeper. Riddle was taken down quite quickly. Omos then caught Austin Theory and then gave Austin Theory a double choke bomb. And that took Austin Theory out of the match for, yes, AK, for like 15 fucking minutes. Rollins was then directing traffic. He delivered a stomp to Omos on the table. Not the table, the apron, excuse me. They eyed the table next, but he delivered a stomp to Omos on the apron. Then Rollins was telling everyone, clear out the table. They military pressed Omos and threw him, and he was powerbombed by all 6 men through the announce table, and he was taken out for the entire match effectively. Sami then went for the briefcase. Drew McIntyre stopped him. Another ladder was put on the top turnbuckle. Sheamus and was taken out by Drew. Drew went for the win. All of a sudden, Pete Dunne interfered. Butch locked in a sleeper. Drew McIntyre fought back. Butch then, he took him down. Sheamus with a punt knee. Sheamus went for the briefcase. Drew bench pressed the ladder, and Sheamus fell off. He delivered a Claymore to Butch. Drew and Sheamus both climbed. Sami took both men down, and both men went headfirst into the ladder that was on the top turnbuckle. We had Madcap Moss coming on in to stop Sami Zayn. Rollins then stopped Madcap Moss and delivered a stomp to him. Rollins climbed the ladder. Matt Riddle climbed the ladder. Riddle then went up top, delivered a beautiful super RKO off the ladder to Rollins. It looked amazing. Riddle then climbed the ladder. Austin Theory came in, climbed the ladder. Both men went back and forth, ultimately for Theory to shove Riddle down, and Theory gets the win and the Money in the Bank briefcase. A great match. Ruined by a shit outcome. Why was this a shit outcome? Yes, WWE should be creating new stars. Creating new stars should be #1 priority in the wrestling business. However, everything comes over time. Creating new stars is a process that does not happen over the course of X amount of months. Creating new stars is a process that happens over the course of 9, 10, 11, 12 months, a year plus. It's called long-term storytelling. Long-term storytelling, long-term planning, building for the future, creative writing for the future. It's all about the future. It's all about plans to get said people over with the audience over time. Theory was an individual who came up to Monday Night Raw. He's been one of the better acts on Monday Night Raw, and he was given the U.S. title, and he was in the perfect position with the United States Championship. Now, I'm afraid with Bobby Lashley as the U.S. champion that we could be looking at another fucking match with Omos at SummerSlam, which, my God, if Omos wins the fucking U.S. title, God help us all. This was a great ladder match, a great Money in the Bank ladder match. Even Omos, I shit on him all the time, but even Omos wasn't that bad in this match. Even Omos played his role fairly decently in this match. Theory is an individual who was called up to the main roster. He's been booked fairly decently, and he was given the U.S. title, and that was the perfect role for him because he wasn't factoring into any world title matches anytime recently. Austin Theory was not ready for a main event level spotlight. Not yet. They fast-tracked Austin Theory because Austin Theory is a Vince McMahon guy. He's the hand-selected prodigy, the prodigal son, the hand-selected man, the next face of the company, handpicked by the boss himself. And listen, I'm glad that he picked someone like Austin Theory because Austin Theory has all the tools. But why does it have to be now? Why does it have to be now when there is a bigger story to tell with both Rollins and Riddle? I was going to go with Seth Rollins. Some people were calling Matt Riddle. I wouldn't have minded Matt Riddle. Because with Matt Riddle, that presents an interesting scenario to have Matt Riddle get his revenge on Roman Reigns. Then Randy Orton can come back, take the title off of Matt Riddle at the Royal Rumble next year. Cody comes back, wins the Rumble, and we can get Cody and Orton, and that story tells itself going into WrestleMania 39 in SoFi Stadium. Or they could have gone with Rollins to tie up that storyline with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. You could have had Seth Rollins win Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins could have cashed in at SummerSlam on Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, similar to what he did at WrestleMania 31. And then we could have wrapped up the Cody Rhodes-Seth Rollins storyline with Seth Rollins inevitably falling to Cody Rhodes again after Cody wins the Rumble and Cody beats Rollins at WrestleMania. They gave it to Austin Theory because they are giving the world to Austin Theory, and it's the same shit that WWE does every single time they select the guy. Every single time they select the next face of the company, every single time they select the next prodigal son, the next guy that's going to be winning all of these championships, the next guy that's going to be on the poster board, that's going to be on t-shirts, that's going to be on collector's cups, that's going to be on the fucking Today Show. They do it all the fucking time. They did it with Hogan. They did it with Cena. They did it with Roman. Now they're on the verge of doing it with Theory. I was actually taking note of what they were doing with Braun Breaker. I was actually taking note of what they were doing with Braun Breaker in NXT. And I said, WWE has to be careful because you're making Braun Breaker into the next Roman Reigns. Little did I know they were going to make Austin Theory into the next Roman Reigns right under our noses. They fast-tracked Austin Theory. Theory should have won Money in the Bank next year. He should have won Money in the Bank next year because there was a better story to tell. With Rollins or Riddle winning, that would have inevitably got the title on Cody. Cody could have held the title from WrestleMania 39 to WrestleMania 40. Meanwhile, Austin Theory during that time could have won Money in the Bank next year. Then what we could have done is we could have had Austin Theory cash in on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40 and win the WWE Championship in 2024 in WrestleMania 40 when Austin Theory had some more wins under his belt, had a little bit more experience under his belt, and had a little bit more momentum under his belt. Theory has barely even been on the main roster for a year. He'll be on the main roster 1 year come October, and he's already a fucking Money in the Bank ladder match winner. So Theory, what's Theory going to do? Theory's going to win the championship from Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar and do what with it? He's going to be the one that Cody takes the title off of? Really? He's going to be the one that Cody takes the championship off of. What about if Roman and Lesnar refuse to lay down for Austin Theory? What about that? Are you telling me that Austin Theory could very well waste his Money in the Bank contract? If that's the case, why did you even give him the fucking contract? Here's another question. If Theory was going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match this whole time, why didn't you put him in there from the get-go? Why did you even give him the United States Championship? Theory should have been the United States Champion for a year plus. Going into next year, he could have won Money in the Bank as the United States Champion. He could have lost the United States Championship towards the end of next year. Then he could have been built up to potentially win at WrestleMania and cashing in on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. WWE does the same shit. They either over-push someone or they don't push someone enough. No one is pushed or booked just right. The only one that's been pushed and booked just right is Cody. Again, like I said in the beginning when I talked about Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley, you were better off doing Austin Theory versus John Cena at SummerSlam for the United States Championship, because at least then Theory would have been in a decent spotlight and Theory would have still remained the United States Champion. Theory was not the right winner. He was not the right winner. Not now, not in this scenario. It was not the right time. I am an Austin Theory guy, but now WWE is playing a very dangerous game. WWE is on the verge. One more win, it's over. I guarantee you, when he wins the World Championship, that's it. It's over. They are on the verge of turning Austin Theory into Roman Reigns 2.0. The only good thing about Austin Theory right now is that he's a heel. So at least he'll be getting the right reaction. But sooner rather than later, people are going to start turning their backs on Austin Theory, and they're not going to care about what Austin Theory is doing. People legitimately, when Austin Theory unhooked the briefcase, people were getting up and walking out. Everybody was talking about it. Creating new stars should be the number one priority, but this is not how you do it. It's not about winning accomplishments within a short amount of time. That's how you become like Charlotte fucking Flair, and no one wants to be like Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is undoubtedly one of the worst acts in all of WWE right now. She has been given more championships than I can fucking count. She's literally been given the world. The only thing that she hasn't done is win a women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And you know for a fact that that's coming sooner rather than later. Charlotte Flair has done everything there is to do, and she hasn't even hit the prime of her fucking career yet. She's only been in WWE for what, 10 years? Been in WWE for what, 10 years? And she's already done everything there is to do minus win a Money in the Bank contract. That's it. That is fucking ridiculous. That's the type of shit that you should have at the end of your career, not the middle of your career, barely even the middle of your career. You're fast-tracking Austin Theory, and you're putting him in a position where he is doomed to fail. You're putting him in a position where he is doomed to fail. I don't understand how people can be so fucking retarded that they don't understand the basics of professional wrestling. They don't understand the basics of creating new stars. Look at what happened with Adam Page. Look at what happened with Adam Page in AEW and how his rise to superstardom took place. Adam Page, who in my eyes is the best wrestler of the entire year thus far, the matches that he's been having have been great. He had a great world title reign. Adam Page and his world title reign was so great. Why was it so great? Because The journey that Adam Page has had to get to the World Championship has probably been one of the best stories, if not the best story that AEW has ever told, minus CM Punk and MJF. Adam Page, he could have easily beaten Chris Jericho, but they didn't do that. They knew that Adam Page at that time was not ready. They knew that the crowd was not taking to Adam Page at that time. So what did they do? They worked. They worked to make sure that Adam Page was in a position in which he was going to get himself over time. It was a slow burn. Everything worked out very nicely. It was a year-long build. They had Adam Page lose all of his friends. Then he gained new friends in the Dark Order. Everything worked out perfectly. And in the end, we got a great moment, a great match with Omega, and Adam Page won the World Championship, and Adam Page had a great world title reign. And Adam Page right now is in the prime of his career. Adam Page is doing the best work of his career right now. How would you think Adam Page would have worked out if he won the World Championship from Chris Jericho? Adam Page would have suffered from the Roman Reigns treatment. It would have been a very, very, very lukewarm reaction, and no one would have really cared. It would have been a very, very, very dangerous game that Tony Khan would have been playing. But Tony Khan went with the safe route, and he knew that he needed to spend some time with Adam Page. They needed to work on what he was doing, and at the end of the day, Adam Page and his journey was probably the best journey that we've seen from AEW. It was his own Bryan Danielson journey. It was a great journey. Theory, I can't say the same. Theory was not ready. This is a scenario in which Theory is being shoved down our throats. Theory now is in the same exact spot as Roman Reigns, and you don't want that. Other than that, show was great. Show was just fine. We had a lot of great wrestling on the show. The ladder match was excellent. Street Profits and the Usos stole the show. We had a decent little Raw Women's title match. And Theory and Bobby Lashley, they put on a very good match themselves. Overall, minus what happened with Austin Theory and that terrible women's Money in the Bank ladder match, minus those two things, Money in the Bank ultimately will go down as a very good pay-per-view. Will SummerSlam be the same case? I don't know. To be quite honest with you, I doubt it. But WWE, I know for a fact that they're never going to follow up correctly. And Monday Night Raw tomorrow, I don't see Monday Night Raw as anything of note tomorrow. Matter of fact, I expect a low rating. I expect a low shit rating tomorrow for 4th of July, Monday Night Raw. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got. That has been the rewind for WWE Money in the Bank 2022. Certainly a lot of material to talk about. We've been live for almost 2 hours. You guys have been great. Thank you, Charlie Sees All. Thank you, Earl Cole. Thank you, Alan Holland. Thank you, AK Eagles Podcast. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you, everyone that stopped by. You guys have been great. You guys always make being DJ Storms for me worthwhile. I greatly appreciate all of you coming out of your way to enjoy the show. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. I'll be making my debut on the Hardcore Sports Network very, very, very soon. I'll keep you guys updated for the date. Trust me, it's going to be good. Of course, LFU's next Saturday. It's going to be good. We have a busy month. We got Death Before Dishonor coming on July 23rd. We also got SummerSlam coming on July 30th. It's going to be good. But ladies and gentlemen, I greatly appreciate all of you. I hope you guys have a great 4th of July weekend. I'm DJ Storms, and this has been The Rewind. I will catch you guys next week for the LFU. Remember, people, remember this. Who runs the IWC? Who runs it, baby? Who runs the IWC? Who but DJ motherfucking Storms? Don't you forget it. I'll catch you guys later.